Understand 5G. G means generation of technology. So we had 3G, 4G, and now time for 5G. The standard 5G specification is IMT 2020, but it's not completed yet. Okay, industry is not waiting for this committee to complete their rush to go for this new technology. Okay, who is a player there? Huawei, Nokia, Qualcomm, and don't forget Samsung. They are the player. Okay, so what's so big deal about 5G? Isn't it just a little bit faster internet? Well, you have to understand this impact to our lifestyle. Otherwise, you'll be considered as one of those people living in the forest. Okay, so the three most important things we need to know about 5G. Number one, data signal is carried by carrier wave, right? Okay, so data rate at cell phone chip like Qualcomm is 500 megabit per second. Right now, 4G give you the best case 20 megabits. So about 25 times faster. And what does it mean? We talk about that. And it can go up to 1 gigabits per second. Okay, now carrier means modulating wave. In order to send, say, music, we use higher frequency to modulate and send higher frequency and extract the music from that carrier. You need a carrier. Carrier is about 30 gigahertz. Okay, the antenna that carries 1,000 users' data must have much higher data rate. That means from say city to city to connect by microwave, that goes like 90 gigahertz. It's a very high frequency to carry everybody in the city connected to everybody in this another city. So, and this city is connected to another city, and those are called backbone communication. And this is not trivial technology. This probably right now is only military use it, but it's going to be used by commercial application in the 5G. Data rate is close to the memory speed now. So if you look at the laptop computer, the CPU is 3 gigahertz, and the memory access speed is like probably the clock is divided, and probably you can access memory at the 300 megahertz. Think about it. It's cell phone to another device is faster than your computer CPU chip to memory. This computer CPU to memory was the highest speed. This was undoubtedly the fastest area around you inside the laptop. 5G is even faster than that. That means if you have some data here, you can use it like you have it in your memory. Okay, what is the disk speed? Disk speed probably 200 megahertz, so slower. This is the burst mode, and usually disk is much slower because burst mode is you get the data at the time by chunk, but between the data is like incredibly long millisecond of break, then you have a burst. You're talking about 200 megahertz here, but between them is incredibly slow, and that's why memory speed up your computer, and hard disk is the bottleneck of your computer speed. So you get the idea how fast 5G is. This 5G goes around Qualcomm chip claimed like 500 megabit per second, and in the future 1 gigabit per second. It's incredibly fast. But speed is not only one important in the 5G. Okay, major issue in the 4G is called latency. What is latency? Latency is you initiate connection and until connection established. That's the latency time. Okay, and if it takes 10 milliseconds to 20 milliseconds, and in order to your browser to establish connection to the server you need, you have to translate URL. You have like probably 100 connection you have to initiate. So multiply by 100. It's going to be very slow, and sometimes it takes 300 seconds to connect. And this is a fatal problem with 4G. Okay, so when you are doing the real-time things like driving car using internet data, and this kind of delay, 300 seconds, is fatal. You get accident. The 5G guaranteed to be 1 millisecond. So even you have URL translation, everything, it's only 100 milliseconds. So what's happened is 0.1 second connection established, and you got very fast data rate, so you can handle real-time things. Okay, so something like auto driving or remotely operating in hospital, this 5G is possible. This 4G is impossible to do. So the solution to the auto driving car is coming. It's 5G. Okay, bandwidth. The bandwidth so much more in the 5G. That means before stadium, you're watching football game, everybody use internet, the internet doesn't connect. Or convention center, so many people in the building, and cell phone doesn't connect. That's 4G. The 5G never happened. The 5G even allow every household to have like 20 devices connecting to internet directly, like toaster to refrigerator to TV to everything connected, not with Wi-Fi, but direct connection to 5G. Okay, because of the bandwidth. So why so fast and so much bandwidth? 30 gigahertz radio wave is milliwave. Okay, milliwave is like, okay, wavelength is speed divided by frequency. You divide light speed by 30 gigahertz, like millimeter. So wave is millimeter, it's very tiny. Okay, so microwave use 2.5 gigahertz. You know the reason? Because water molecule get excited by this wave. So the water molecule inside your food heat up in the microwave 2.5 gig. So 30 gigahertz is way above it, but still it gets somewhat affected by rain. So this is the problem. And also shorter wave, like light is much shorter wave, tend to bounce back by the wall and the building. So the shorter wave attenuation, it's the power reduced quickly, substantially. The distance between the antenna and the cell phone will be much shorter in the 5G. So how do you do that? 4G, one antenna can carry wider area. So, you know, company like AT&T like 4G because less cost for putting up antenna. The 5G costs more. Well, what is good is antenna is much smaller because of milliwave. Antenna is like a coin. So on the antenna they put like 50 coins. So it's increased 50 times sensitivity. So the 4G, the antenna was like 20 times bigger, like a sheet. But 5G, each antenna is like the size of the coin. So it's smaller and less costly, so more antenna around the city to cover. So when you have a building in the city, each building has an antenna. So the software has to be made so that if you're driving through the building, it switch from one antenna to another antenna very quickly. So this is another difference between 4G. 4G you sometimes get disconnected. 5G is smooth transition from antenna to antenna. Okay. And the backbone is so much higher bandwidth. It can handle more data. So everybody download the movie, no problem. Movie like couple seconds to download one movie. Okay. So 5G chip has to be created, and Huawei, Samsung, and Qualcomm are the top runner for the 5G chip. And 5C cell phone connect to 5G service. So AT&T has to do 5G, but the putting up 5G antenna is another effort. They start slowly doing that in the East Coast and West Coast. But antenna alone cannot do 5G. So what AT&T does is the same story as 4G and LTE. They let you use 5G phone and call 5GE. Means 5G phone is going to be connected to 4G network. So 5GE is something like 5G phone is connected to 4G network, and it's slightly faster, like speed is doubled. That's it. And that's what they're gonna offer. Okay, it's not true 5G. If you see in the 5G phone right now, AT&T, it's display 5GE. So E means extended, to be extended to 5G later. Right now it's only 4G. Okay, so when it's coming, who knows? It's about installing entire infrastructure, and AT&T Verizon has to spend money to install it. But right now they are putting some antenna on the East Coast and West Coast and doing something like intermediate product, 5GE. So it's going to take a couple years. And then later the backbone is going to be real 5G. So another couple years, we will say 4 or 5 years, this 5G is true 5G is coming. Okay, so if you like this video, please check other videos, and if you like, click subscribe.